The morning sun barely crept over the horizon as the clock struck 6 a.m., heralding the start of another episode of Good Morning Britain, GMB. The studio buzzed with the usual pre-show energy, but today was different. Today, the nation's pulse would be tested. As the opening credits rolled, co-hosts Susanna Reid and Richard Madeley exchanged their customary pleasantries. The audience, a mix of early risers and dedicated viewers, settled in for the day's discussions. Little did they know, the ensuing conversation would ignite a firestorm of reactions across the UK. The interview that sparked outrage. The guest of the day was Labour's Work and Pensions Secretary, Pat McFadden. The topic? Labour's proposed reforms to the welfare system. Susanna, known for her incisive questioning, wasted no time. "Mr. McFadden," she began, "you've stated that welfare reform is necessary, but how can you justify cuts that will affect the most vulnerable in our society?" McFadden, maintaining his composure, responded, "These reforms are about ensuring that the welfare system is sustainable and that those who truly need assistance receive it." But Reid pressed on. "And yet, reports suggest that these cuts will disproportionately impact the disabled and elderly. How do you reconcile that with Labour's commitment to social justice?" The tension in the studio was palpable. McFadden's responses seemed rehearsed, lacking the empathy many viewers expected from a Labour representative. As the interview concluded, the damage was done. A nation reacted. Within minutes of the broadcast, social media platforms erupted. Hashtags like GMBC cuts and Labour fail trended nationwide. Viewers expressed their outrage, disappointment, and heartbreak. One viewer tweeted, "I voted Labour because I believed in fairness. This feels like betrayal." Another commented, "How can a party that once championed the working class now turn its back on them?" Even longtime supporters of the party voiced their disillusionment. "I can't support a party that abandons its core values," one wrote. The fallout. The backlash wasn't confined to social media. Political analysts weighed in, suggesting that Labour's proposed welfare cuts could cost them dearly in upcoming elections. "This could be the turning point," one analyst remarked. "If Labour doesn't reconsider, they risk alienating their base." Inside the party, murmurs of dissent grew louder. Senior figures questioned the wisdom of the proposed reforms, fearing a loss of voter trust. "We need to listen to the people," one insider stated. "If we don't, we may find ourselves out of touch and out of power." A glimmer of hope. Amidst the uproar, some voices called for unity and understanding. "Let's not forget the broader picture," one supporter wrote. "Labour has always stood for progress. Perhaps this is just a misstep." Others echoed the sentiment, urging the party to engage in open dialogue with its constituents. "We need to hear from the people we serve. Only then can we make informed decisions." Conclusion. The events of that fateful morning on Good Morning Britain served as a stark reminder of the delicate balance politicians must maintain. The trust of the public is not easily won, and once lost, it is challenging to regain. As the sun set on that day, the nation remained in turmoil. Would Labour heed the cries of its supporters? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain: the heartbreak of the viewers was real, and their voices could not be ignored.